Tonight's the night, and it's going to keep happening over and over again. Welcome to this Dexter Resurrection episode 9 spoiler discussion. I come to you as always as Charles, otherwise known as Sipo. Thank you in advance for subscribing and liking this video. Joining me is Cody Leach of Cody Leach. How are you, sir?
Oh, man. It's been a stressful 22 hours.
Yeah, it's the fact that we have an episode left still is it is saying quite a bit. I think this goes without warning, I would assume, but if you haven't watched episode 9, you're probably going to want to wait to watch this until you have watched episode 9. So this is your warning once again. It's in the title, like spoilers. So like don't say we didn't warn you. Yeah, so I think it's hysterical that for as much as the internet, and it's very different what happens on the internet and what happens in the series, but as much as a big deal as the internet is making the New York Ripper to be, we get some form of resolution in the Angel storyline before we do the New York Ripper storyline. And I think that's bittersweet in so many different ways. But yeah, I thought maybe Dexter was shot and here he is walking around today. But sure enough, like the official Dexter things are remembering Angel. It's just like, oh wow, okay. You're not even like letting us perhaps think maybe episode 10's got some hope in it.
Well, that's why I was telling you last night. I remember you had brought that up, and I was like, I don't know, man. Like, whenever he specifically said the words like, oh, this is it for him, there's no God that can bring him back from here. Like, that felt like them saying, like, don't have hope, motherfucker. This is it. And then I saw, right as the episode ended, that they were dropping like Variety and all the people were dropping interviews that they had already had ready from David Zayas talking about his exit as the character. So, like, I had zero doubt that this was the end of it. Also want to say, too, guys, be careful in the live chat. Hopefully we won't have any assholes, but the last episode is apparently leaked online. So I will not be looking at the comments. We love you guys. Thank you for watching. But yeah, just in case some fuckhead comes in here and tries to post something, maybe just look at the chat sparingly or just chime in and look away and stare at our faces.
Yeah. Mods, please, if there's anything like that, please take care of that. And if you're, I understand, excuse me, there's certain people have a way of handling their excitement and they want to share things. Like there are some people that want spoilers. Like, yeah, that's the way you do things. Cool. But in the community here, warnings at the very least, and we're not about talking about episode 10, except in theory here. So please, out of respect to fellow Dexter fans, kind of keep it to yourself or go somewhere else where that's welcome. But thank you in advance. So,
take it over to JDev's channel. Just kidding,
JDev. So I guess we'll back up and do the whole beginning of the episode. So the cliffhanger of episode 8 was Harrison meets Prater, or well, actually in episode 8, they don't have Harrison's name mentioned by Prater. There's this meeting at a restaurant. But the more Prater bumps into Dexter and Harrison at the restaurant, slow information gets dripped out by Harrison because he's dumbfounded. He's starstruck that there's this billionaire and he knows his dad, Red. And so we get that. I'm glad that you noticed it as well. I saw some of your video that when they leave the restaurant, it's very clearly a Goodfellas homage. Like
if it was an accident, it was a hell of an accident because you have the restaurant, the back room and the song. It was the song when he's driving, trying to get away from the helicopter, right?
Yeah. So the song matches the mood of Dexter and the fact that they were working their Jump in the Fire, I think is the name of the song. The song matched the mood, and going through the back is definitely Goodfellas without doing a oneer. But I felt glad that someone else noticed that. And so you enjoyed the exchange between Charlie and Harrison at the hotel. Can you?
I enjoyed basically the entire episode. Like the only thing, which I won't jump ahead, but when we get there, the only thing that in retrospect I felt like was weak and rushed and had more potential and more meat on the bone was the resolution with Blessing, as well as my issues with the very end of the episode. But yeah, yeah. So you had Prater kind of getting sneakily a little bit nuggets of information out of Harrison while Dexter's trying to like cheekily like play it off while also being like, "Shut the fuck up, kid." So that was pretty funny. I liked how they're exiting the restaurant and Harrison is, understandably like, "What the fuck is going on? Dude? Like, are you going to tell me what's going on?" And he basically just lays out the whole season. He's like, "Look, I infiltrated a group of serial killers that are being bankrolled by the richest motherfucker in town." What? Like, I love the moment where he's like talking about the like, "Oh, so that's how you got Lady Vengeance." He's like, "Yeah, I took out this other guy called the tattoo killer and the Gemini killer." And he's like, "The Gemini
Yeah, he's
killer?"
like
And he's
the
like,
Gemini
"Yeah."
killer.
He's like, "You took him out?" He's like, "Them twins." Like, I like the moments this season where Dexter's just like, "I'm a bad motherfucker," and you know it. Like, you never really felt that from him before until this season. So I like that. Wasn't surprised. Like, were you speculating somebody other than Batista was taking the pictures?
For a little bit. It's kind of a
Yeah.
bummer that all this happened in one episode. Like,
Mhm.
if you have that to finish episode 8, at least it gives us something to salivate over. But yeah, the fact that it was like this, Friday the 13th stalker cam, I was like, why are they doing this? This is interesting. But just rummaging through trees.
You need to edit that. If we were doing 31 on 31, I would expect that as an edit. But yeah, so yeah, Batista follows him. Dexter slips away at the last second in the subway, and you know, I did like the scene with Uma Thurman and Harrison. Like to me, I think she did a good job at portraying somebody who's trying to analyze someone through intimidation.
Mhm.
And so it's like a performance within a performance. Like she's playing a character who's also turning up her personality for intimidation's sake to somebody who's never encountered her before. And so I kind of read through all of that. And the way that she plays has the gun out and she's just casually like eating bacon or whatever while asking him all these very intrusive questions for reasons that she's not given him. So I did really like that episode. I thought that Uma Thurman actually shined quite a bit in this one, more so later on than in this scene. But
Mhm.
just overall, we got a lot from her in this one that I enjoyed. And I also like the fact that, in total Morgan fashion, you have Harrison basically get away with lying without looking like he's full of shit by telling half truths.
Mhm.
And I thought that that was written very well, where she's asking him these questions that are very obviously like trying to pinpoint who he is and then double check who his dad is. And he's answering them honestly, but not really. And I thought that that was kind of interesting. How did you feel about them kind of framing the scene to be told in retrospect? Because like it cuts from her opening the door to him and shutting the door to him on the roof calling his dad, and then he basically recants everything to him that happened. Like, did you feel like that was interesting, or do you feel like that took the tension of the scene away?
No, I thought it was interesting because the way that they reveal it, we're learning with Dexter. So
Mhm.
Harrison's like something's wrong, and um, the fact that we're learning as Dexter's learning gives us something of a surprise. Like, so Harrison makes it seem like something's up and he kind of fucked up. Like
Yeah.
we know that he's starstruck. Who knows what information he gave to Uma Thurman, Charlie? But yeah, I think it's a smart decision showing us in that kind of storytelling game of telephone through Harrison's recognition. Um, yeah, there are a lot of decisions with the way they're storytelling, whether it be gimmicks or shots or whatever that I think have been really interesting. At the same time, there are some choices. I don't know if it's direction, acting, or the script, but some things have just been so glaring to me. I think there are parts where Charlie's performance. I don't know. Again, I don't know if it's acting, writing, or direction. There are points where it just felt off, and absolutely everything about Blessing in the last, I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes has just been uneven, stiff, and kind of just painful, like bad television. I think part of the reason that I get fooled with Dexter Resurrection because it's presented in a more cinematic style. It's still a television series, but it's not shot the way OG Dexter was, where like the lighting is it's full frame, everything's well lit.
Hmm.
It's more of a cinematic presentation. So I have like movie brain on when I'm watching this, and every now and again it's like oh right, this is a television show after all. It's interesting because when it's good, it fools me into movie brain, but when it's bad, it's like oh I forgot. Um,
Snap back. Oh,
oh, that was awful. But yeah, I appreciated it. It's nice to get reminded that this can be good. And someone asked me, my comparisons have been to Breaking Bad. It seems like they're copying Breaking Bad's homework, another television series that was quite cinematic and impressive. I don't mind, having fun ways to tell us a story. I wanted to touch back on something that you brought up earlier about the Gemini killer. It's nice to have us experience how big a deal some of these characters are, like because we're so closely tied into this small circle of Dexter's universe, and having granted it's just dialogue, it's just exposition, but the fact that Harrison's like the Gemini killer. Like he knows who his father is, but even someone as big as, Gemini, who's on the FBI top 10 most wanted list, like that just reassures us like, oh, these people are a big, big deal. There's other ways you can do it, but just kind of reminding us that, yeah, in this universe, Dexter's really, he's got his work cut out for him. And, it's just one little line. It's one little thing, but it's a big deal. I certainly appreciate it.
Mhm.
But yeah, after the discussion with Harrison and Charlie, Dexter finds a way to get to Charlie's house, and I'm trying to remember how the fuck he finds it.
He asked Harrison to look at the reservation information for the room that she was holding,
That was
which I thought
painful.
was incredibly contrived.
Yeah, yeah, that's a little bit of a misstep.
Yeah, to me, it's like, so you want us to believe that this is like a real bad bitch, like she's gonna fucking slip in there like a snake, and she's working for this millionaire, billionaire, whatever, who's been getting away with this shit or whatever, but she's gonna make a reservation under her actual fucking information. It's gonna tie to her actual address when she's confronting this kid knowing damn well the second he gets out of this room, Red is gonna find out. Like, this is not, they're not doing this on the sneak. They're doing it in spite of his, reservations. Like, fuck you, we can ask whatever we want to ask, bitch. And so I thought that was incredibly stupid. Like, it's a quick little moment. It's one of those Dexter conveniences
Yeah.
where it's like you either fucking get stuck in quicksand or you just move on, accept it. But that was the one this episode where I was like, really? You couldn't have fucking given me anything else that was just like not so easy like that. Like, now she's an idiot. And we'll get back to the show making characters a little dumb, but yeah, so that was one where I was like, fine.
Yeah.
And then yeah, he ends up at her house, and he's got like the dark passenger garb back on, and we kind of already knew this, or at least speculated it, but he finds out that she's prior military and has been in all these different
Special
organizations in the
forces or some shit.
military and
Yeah.
special forces, and her mom was. And it wasn't like a mind-blowing twist or anything, but I thought it was an interesting little reveal that the mom is actually in hospice care, like inside of the house, like
Yeah.
because you always showed her, it always felt like she was going to a hospital somewhere. So that brought a little edge of humanity to this character we don't know a whole lot about yet. And then immediately after that, he gets the drop on her in the car. And this is where I thought Uma Thurman's acting definitely was top notch, where
In the car.
she's got that, like, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like, she's
Mhm.
got that edge to her. And then you got Michael C. Hall, who was also incredible in this scene, because I love the moments where Dexter goes dark and he almost has like that, like demonic kind of look to him. And like even the way that he changes the bass and his voice drops out. He was doing that while also having a flavor of I'm still playing Red. It wasn't Dexter Morgan like the Bay Harbor Butcher talking to her. It was that with the edge of Red. And so I love the way that Michael C. Hall can just bring these little nuances to the way that he talks and the way that his face moves and everything, where just subtle things change who he's pretending to be as Dexter.
Plus, the power dynamics are shifting. They're both being
Yeah.
like primitive for protection's sake, but now he's got the power shift, and he's doing this for primitive reasons to protect his kid. So she's now not only just with her neck tied up for the sake of saving her mother, she's at a disadvantage. She doesn't know what's happening. So like the fact that they're both kind of like faking things like for a certain reason for protection's sake, it's a really nice shift. And the fact that they're both kind of bullshitting, I think, going to that, I really enjoyed, or I appreciate the fact that what they're doing with Prater's character is he has people who need his help, and he has a very transactional relationship with people. Where the woman who set up the gala or whatever, he asked her about how her mother was doing, and it's like, oh, he wants people to need him, and like he has these things that he knows he could hold over their head. It's kind of disgusting and filthy, but it adds to the fact, like, yeah, this guy's a scumbag. No matter what it is he says or does, he knows how to have people indebted to him, and in like the grimiest of ways. I really like that. And like you said, when it's painful, like the shortcuts, it's not great. But like again, if you're gonna do a 10, you better do a 10, because you're giving me some ones here, and I can't, for me to put up with the ones, I need some level 10. I don't know. I think when it's great, it's fantastic. It has been a little contrived, a little wince-worthy at times, but because there's so many moments where it's like a level 10, it makes it easier to swallow. Like if it was just a bunch of 5s and then a 1, you're like, ugh, this isn't worth the squeeze.
I need to go back and rewatch the first couple of seasons just to kind of refresh myself and see if there's a lot of contrivances then, because I know there's a lot in the back half of the show as the writing dipped, but I need to go back to those golden era things and see if there was just a lot of shit that we just kind of never paid much attention to, and now we've just gotten so particular because we've been through bad Dexter.
Yeah.
So now it's like, be perfect.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Now we want everything.
Well, again, I to what you're saying, I think seasons 5, 6, 7, 8, New Blood, there have been so many contrivances and kind of painful moments. Again, going back to the way Resurrection has been like cinematic, it's been so good. It's been first 4 seasons level good. You forget that, oh, even though it's been this good, I guess it could be season 8 level bad too. So yeah. Sorry.
No, you're good. But yeah, so going back to the whole conversation in the car, I really liked Michael C. Hall's performance, but then I liked how Uma Thurman shifted on a dime as soon as he mentioned her mom. As soon as he let her know, I've been to your house, she just breaks because she lets out she's been basically enslaved to Prater for 8+ years to keep her mom alive. Like that's her one track mind is keeping mom alive as long as possible. And so the thought that all that was for naught and this sick fuck behind me just went and decapitated her, like, you felt that in her performance. I thought that was great, even though like she asks him and he just slips past the question and keeps asking things, and he goes on, and then she asks the question again. It's like, I didn't hear anything you just said, answer my question. And so I like that. I like the moment where he says, no, I'm not like that, or that's not who I am. But yeah, I dug that scene right there. And let's see what happened after that. So then you have, like, right after that, you have the scene where the 2 detectives are now looking into that weapon that Dexter kind of tipped them off to. Which at this point, like, I know there's been a lot of people, not a lot of people, but there's been a pretty popular recurring comment that I've had on a lot of the Dexter New York Ripper stuff, which you and I have joked off scene like a lot about how ridiculous a lot of the theories are and how clickbaity so many people are being with it.
It's Aster. Get used to it. It's Aster.
Yes, it's Stokes. It's Stokes' ghost. But yeah, there's been a number of people that are like, I hate how people are making this a big deal. Like, it's going to be nothing. This is not going to be a twist reveal. This isn't going to go anywhere. I think by now you can put that to bed. Like, we're 9 episodes in and we're still, like, deliberately having scenes where they're going back to it. Like, that would be the biggest Chekhov's gun misfire in the world if they're like, New York Ripper, like, who the fuck cares? We're not doing that. So, it shows them looking into this weapon. She's listing off all these public service little groups and organizations of people who can have access to this weapon, which I haven't stopped and, like, really analyzed that to see, like, if that fits anybody that we know. I know you had brought up Steve Shipka.
Steve Sherpa, who's
Sherpa.
yeah, they say that people who have access to those tools would have access to manhole covers. Steve Sherpa, who I think his name's Tony. Am I being completely Italian racist here? I think it's something very Italian. I am part Italian. I can say that.
His name's Big Pussy.
Bag of donuts. He would have access to something like that. So I remember sending you a voice message like, oh, add his name to the list. Cue that video with a white background. But yeah, you were talking about them. Oh, I don't think you got to Angel yet because I have something circled when Angel shows up.
He walks in when they're in the middle of that. That's kind of like their little cold open to this situation. And he comes in and starts to talk about like the pictures with him and Prater, and they basically shut him down immediately and tell him that she has talked with Quinn. We know that you're no longer with the Miami Metro Police Department, and you've literally committed a felony by portraying yourself as such and using our resources, and that you were literally in a federal penitentiary right next to us under these false pretenses. And so you have now a situation where Batista continues to look crazy because they're asking him about the death of Maria and Dokes and all this stuff. And now he's like, he can't get his story straight. And I love the moment in his acting where he's no. I mean, yeah, but like, fuck, this is what he does. Like, I love that moment because it's like, that is what he does. He pits everybody against each other. He's the unassuming Dexter Morgan, and everybody ends up looking crazy because they say the truth, which is so ridiculous that nobody believes it.
Yeah.
And then they take his shield away. So now he has no resources left. He has nowhere to go. He has no help to call for. Either he leaves New York and just puts this behind him and leaves that hole open, or he has to put himself at risk and basically be left to his own devices.
Yeah, so I have something circled when that happened. I said, Angel is retired, but he's not a cop. So how does that relate to Lundy being retired, but is able to do things as an FBI agent in season 4? Season 4, when Lundy is chasing Trinity, he's retired, but he's still able to look at files and things. Again, when you set a precedent within your own show, these like backdoors and shortcuts are listen, if there's certainly a chance that people are only watching Resurrection, it's something of an offshoot. It's in the title that it's not exactly Dexter, but in your universe, a retired person was able to have access to files. I just feel like it's really short-sighted to do that and take his badge. Like, do you really need to take his badge?
Well, when Miami Metro finds out that he's still flashing it to get access, they basically that made sense to me. So to play devil's advocate, that is a good point that I didn't think about. But to play devil's advocate, I know there's a point where Deb gets so caught up in the Trinity investigation stuff that there's a spot where LaGuerta comes in and essentially pulls all of his access. Like, it was just kind of like a professional courtesy thing. So I think they kind of explain that away, but they definitely, they don't really play into what the actual laws are or the way that they have here. I mean, for all we know, that could have been highly illegal with how they did it in 4, where he's at the crime scenes and he's able to handle evidence and things like that. So I guess we're supposed to presume that LaGuerta and everybody, because of their past with him on the BHB case, they were just like, okay, come in and help us.
If I'm not mistaken, the only reason that she does that is like he's stepping on toes. I'm not sure, but I remember she says something and he's like, let me guess, I gotta go or whatever. So,
yeah, he's pulling too many resources for what they think is a dead end at the time, just a theory when they have all this other shit going on. They had the vacation murders.
But right, like it's not like it's a great problem. It's just the way things end in this episode. And it's funny that like last week I was like, or 2 weeks ago, no, last week, I was like, I do not like what they're doing with Angel, and you're like, just wait, and now this time you're like, I don't like what they're doing with Angel.
Well, last week when you were saying, because you didn't like how he kind of looked like a fool in front of the detectives because he didn't have any hard evidence, and yet he called them in all excited. To me, that wasn't as big of a deal because I at least could justify in my head that character being so high on adrenaline of like, holy fuck, like it was this close and he was about to kill somebody, like just being so fogged from the adrenaline of it all that he would call and then not realize somebody, especially somebody as like black and white as Wallace is not going to give any room to any kind of conveniences. It's like either you have evidence and it's hard evidence or you have nothing. And so that didn't bug me as much, while I did understand kind of where you were heading with that. In this episode, however, in this one, however, there was multiple points where I was like, okay, Batista was never an idiot until now. So yeah, he's got all of his resources pulled away from him. You eventually have this conversation where Charlie shows up with the bandage on her neck and Prater's just fascinated. Like he's almost turned on by it. Holy shit, like you survived an encounter with the Dark Passenger. That's cool. She's not playing into it at all. They get a phone call from Dexter and he's getting ready to prime this last little meeting where he can execute both of them. And I think might have been right before that you had this really funny thing where he has we've skipped ahead a little bit. So we had after he confronts Charlie, he wants to keep Harrison completely out of harm's way. So the only way he can think to do that is to go and resolve things with Blessing so that Blessing will go pick him up. And it's not like the scene was bad. I mean, it's for as angry as he was in the last episode, it takes almost nothing for him to forgive Dexter. And I'm like, he really didn't say anything a whole lot different than he said the last time you talked to him. Why is it so much better now? Anyway, the over friendliness of this family is just, it's not working for me. I just don't buy it. They're just so welcoming, so forgiving, so like, come in, meet everybody. You look like the serial killer that's out there, but just, you're cool. It's never really worked for me. But nonetheless, he, Blessing gives him a hug or whatever. And at the time of this scene, it didn't dawn on me at all. It's just like, okay, this is how he's going to get Harrison away without having to have people follow him while he goes and picks him up. Okay, fine, whatever. That's just a little plot thing. But given how the episode ends so harshly on a refusal of forgiveness that Dexter so desperately wants, it felt like they could have done more in this scene to juxtapose that earlier on, where you have Blessing and him and, they talk about forgiveness, or there's something along the line to like really hammer that theme home a bit more in the scene. So that 20 minutes later, when he goes for the same exact thing from Batista and he's immediately just shut off hard from it, it feels set up a little bit more. It feels like it was woven throughout the episode a bit more. So looking back on that scene, I'm like, you could have done a lot more with that. It would, instead of just having a device to get Harrison at his house.
Yeah. I didn't think about the juxtaposition of the forgiveness angle. That is a hell of a point, but I don't know how to say, like, I told you so. Not I told you so, but the Blessing stuff is just like, once they were taking cats, I was like, I don't need to see any more of this family, like, ever again, please. I get it. You have, what ends up being close to 9 hours of content you got to fill, but yeah, it's weird that he needs to get forgiveness from Blessing, who's a cab driver, which is also what Dexter does on the side, to just have him do cab driver shit for, like, just
order Harrison an Uber.
Just have Gigi order the fucking thing. Like, he even says something like, make sure you have DoorDash come, like, don't leave the apartment. Just, like, I'm sorry, you're your car driver. Just get it. Like, he knows the guy who survived from Red. Just maybe ask him if he can do it. Like, it's such a weird thing.
I'll tell you what I think they're doing. I think they're setting up Blessing, as well as numerous characters throughout the season, but I think very much Blessing, they're setting him up as the most obvious red herring for the New York Ripper, which I never believed that theory in the first. To me, it wouldn't work.
I will be pissed
it's a very popular one.
It's awful.
Yeah, but I think with the story of him having the dark past, and even the way that he ended the last episode, where he's like, "You betrayed me," and then walks away, and then this thing. They're giving drama there for us to feel like there's an edge, or there might be something going on where he's going to reveal himself to Dexter. And I also think he's going to come into play with whatever happens next week. I think Blessing's going to have to come to the rescue in some form at some point. And so they wanted him to have this forgiveness thing in this episode very briefly, so that when he shows up in the next episode, it doesn't feel out of nowhere. That's my assumption. But the whole Blessing thing throughout the entire season just feels like fat that could be cut.
Yeah.
Like I would have taken, for as much as there's been plenty of people out there who have said, like, enough with the Batista Chase and Dexter thing, like it's played out, which I don't understand.
No.
But for me, I'm like, what if we had a collective 40 minutes of that shit the entire season? Like it didn't really ramp up until episode 7, whenever they have the confrontation in the car, and now he's starting to chase him everywhere. Before that, like, it was almost like a commercial break. It's like, and meanwhile, Batista's over here doing this thing for the first 6 episodes. So, like, I wish you could have, like, taken the Blessing stuff out, or at least cut it back, like get it to where he has an apartment, and then we don't have to talk with him ever again.
Right.
And give more time to Batista, because I feel like we've been shortchanged. We'll get more into that.
I agree.
But I had somebody who, when I brought this up last week, they said something along the lines of, like, it blows my mind that Cody doesn't comprehend that that Blessing is in here to bring humanity to Dexter. And I'm like, wow, shocking. Wow, you really deciphered this, didn't you? Like, it doesn't mean that it's good just because you have somebody who's ultra friendly in the cast to juxtapose all the evil people around. It's still fucking weird and pointless.
Yeah. And on top of that, like I think it's the fact that everything's got to mean something. It's like if you were watching season 7 or whatever, and Angel's sister, like, ooh, she's got to be, she's got to be a killer somehow. Like, anyone who's on screen somehow needs to be connected. And it's like, yeah, he might just be Chuff. Like it.
I think it's like an MCU problem or something. I think now that we're in this, like, cameo porn era of, like, I want something to be a big moment. I want every character to have a surprise reveal or a twist or a tie back to something. Like, I made fun of it this time because I think I shared it with you. There's been a lot of people who have been like, something's going on with Gigi, like something's going on with this blonde chick. And I'm like, or she could just be somebody who's fucking Harrison, is going to end up being a victim, or is she going to end up being kidnapped to draw Harrison out? Like, everybody doesn't have to be Christine Hill. That turns out to be the fucking killer's daughter. Like, but
right.
I've had somebody who are like, what do you think about this? Like, I think Gigi is actually Aster. And I'm like,
she'd be like 30.
First of all, if we're not going to cast the girl who played Aster, which feels like a bit of a stretch anyway, if we're going to bring Aster back, I don't see any scenario, any haircut, anything where Dexter would not recognize Aster.
His older sister.
2, pretty sure she's older than that, but nonetheless. 3, you want Dexter to pull an Old Boy? Where Harrison's fucking his half sister? For why? Because she's, like, found Dexter and wanted to infiltrate his life again, so I'll fuck my brother on the side until he figures it out. Like, it was you hear these theories sometimes, and I'm like, did you even think about what you just said? Or are you just trying to think of any connection possible, like that's going on here? Like, did you see that guy in the subway? It kind of looked like Miguel Prado's brother. He's back for revenge. It's like, what? Or he's just a Hispanic guy in the subway. Yeah, it's I mean, you always hear this stuff, like the new one with or not the new one, the fairly recent one that was brought up is like, I think the New York Ripper is Joey Quinn because he was a detective in New York once. And it's like, what fucking sense does that make? So he killed people and then he decided to transfer to Miami Metro, and that's why the killing started or stopped. Why wouldn't they keep going in Miami? Have we ever seen any part of a dark edge with Quinn that makes any sense with that? How is he killing people while in, like, there's so many questions where I'm just like, you guys just so desperately want to have everything tie in. At least the theories like Jonah Mitchell or like Cody Bennett being the New York Ripper. Like, at least there's a narrative setup for that. Is it a stretch? Is it like, is there a lot of work to be done to get there? Yeah, but at least you can find the way that those cogs fit together with what we've already seen. This other shit is just like, we haven't seen that character in a while. Who are they killing? Everybody's a killer.
Well, like the other thing is, like, people, I don't know if maybe everybody thinks about this, but in the sake of storytelling, just imagine if someone was watching Resurrection for the first time. There's a reason that before an episode starts, they give you like little clips of something that perhaps didn't happen this season or the previous episode. They remind you of something because narratively speaking, they need you to see the thing that they're referencing. So anything that's like, oh, this character from season 6 is a thing, they haven't given us any visual information to dictate that. It would be just the most bizarre thing ever. If you're watching a movie and an hour and 10 minutes into it, some random character that you have no idea who they are. Sure, we know because we've been watching 10 years. But as far as this season is concerned, as far as this isolated movie is concerned, we have no information visually on them. So to just drop something in there as like fan service, it might be fan service, sure. But for the sake of narrative storytelling, it doesn't work. It doesn't make sense. Like I trust me, I'm excited. I love the Easter eggs and shit, but it has to make sense for the story. So some of these things, it's just, yeah, it's cute to have games. And listen, it's quite lucrative if you're on YouTube. I could see the dozens of thousands of views every week. But not every person needs to be some sort
You're
of
my number one customer.
I mean, like, Elsa, what's going on with her now? Remember how she was going to be the fucking ponytail killer's victim? Like, it's just week by week. I forget that the first go round of Dexter, YouTube wasn't what it is today. So like, this is completely new to me, and it's not really a bad thing, but like the fact that some person brings up an idea that, you know, it's far-fetched, it's fun, it's exciting, it's fun to do these things. But when people run away with it and get their hopes up on, oh, it could be Brian, when it doesn't happen, you're like, oh man, I thought it was going to be Brian. No. Why? Because someone had a theory that it was going to be Brian. Don't run away with someone else's theory.
That's why I've been very careful about when I've speculated and talked about that and you know, hoard out on YouTube about it. It's like, I'm very clear, like, this is a far-fetched thing. Like, this is likely not. Even my favorite of the theories, when I'm ranking them, I'm like, I don't think this is likely. I've been on record now a couple of weeks where I think most likely what's going to happen is either we're going to get introduced to the New York Ripper in a tease at the end of this season for next season, or not even until next season, but it's going to be a character we've never met before. It's going to be like classic Dexter template where new big bad, new A-list actor casting. I don't think it's going to be this big twist reveal. Otherwise, it would have happened, or we would have had something more substantial by now. There's too much to resolve in one episode to also throw in a twist reveal on top of all of that. You know, back episode 6, episode 7, yeah, we got time if they want to lead up to that, if they want to resolve some things beforehand. But now there's so much left on the table that we have to resolve, or at least get to a satisfying pause point to carry over to next season. I don't think they have enough time to do, aha, the Scooby-Doo mask comes off and it's whoever. Like, I think it's legitimately going to be, we'll talk about speculation at the end, but I think it's going to be along those lines where it's just all the fun theories have been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's going to be anybody of that we've been speculating. It's going to be somebody brand new.
Yeah, as long as it's just fun, that's one thing. But to like set your anticipation up, like if it's not Jonah, I'm going to be pissed. Like don't do that. Like let the show be its show first. And
or the other side of it, I came up with the Jonah theory first, and you're bigger channel, so you're being a bully and taking my ideas. Fucking idiots. But yeah, so we have this really funny sequence to me where Harrison is, you know, Blessing has got Harrison back to the apartment. Dexter shows up, thinks he hears a chick's voice inside of it, and so he busts in, and it's Harrison and Gigi messing around on the couch. And you get that awkward dad moment where he's like, so, what you guys up to? And Gigi goes to the bathroom really quick. And I fucking died laughing because while it would seem on its surface to be like such a stupid, like, slip in the writing or a contrivance, it is so spot on accurate for especially like early 20s guy thinking, or maybe he's only like 19, isn't he? He's not even in his 20s.
I don't even think he's that.
18.
Yeah.
18 maybe. Yeah. So he's even younger than that. So yeah, teenage boy. Like, he literally is like, okay, so here's the deal. Prater, the most powerful guy in New York, is actually a sick, twisted fuck who knows all these serial killers. I've been taking them out one by one. I'm infiltrating them. I'm doing all this James Bond shit. And now he's on our trail. his fucking psycho little second in command just cornered you at the hotel and interrogated you. They're on our ass. I need to get somebody who's not me just to pick you up from work to make sure that you're not murdered on the way here. And Harrison's like, man, that's crazy. So can I go to my girlfriend's house and fuck?
Dude, I am way horny.
Immediately, that's his first thing. He's like, so is it cool? Like, they just got there. And he's like, is it cool if I go to her house? And I just laugh because I'm like, of course, that's what he said.
I think
like the totally skip past all the threat. It's total Friday the 13th rules. Like, oh, there's a serial killer out there. I'll hear him coming. But yeah,
you skipped over the other thing where Dexter comes home and he's like, I might have a deck of cards or something. And them two are like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
He's like, yeah, we're not gonna play cards.
We're not hanging out with you, buddy.
Yeah. That whole scene I thought was very funny. Like,
Yeah.
if somebody called that out as like, that was really stupid, I would like, that's actually like spot fucking on.
Yeah.
Like, that's that he, of course he'd be justifying it. And then even Dexter, like, I like that he had a little bit of logic to excuse it, where he's like, you know, there's a small chance that they know where I live. There's zero chance where they know where she lives. So sure, go fucking have fun. And then I'll let you take it away because I had noticed this, and then you kind of reprimed my brain on it last night whenever we were talking about it, where Dexter offers him something.
Dude, I like, so for those of you who aren't in our DMs, I had to go back and rewatch it because I was like, I have a theory and I haven't made 15 videos on it yet. I went back and rewatched it. Yeah, I don't like money. So I had to rewatch it, and I filmed it for Cody. And in the scene, like Dexter says before you go, like, because Gigi's in the BB, whatever the fuck her name is, she's in the bathroom, and Dexter spins around, and you hear what sounds like a refrigerator door opening and shutting when he gives Harrison for protection. There's no reason, like, they don't show us, but why would he turn around and pivot to does he keep condoms in the fridge? I don't know why anyone would have condoms in the fridge.
Decrease his sensitivity.
And she's in the bathroom, and he keeps his your car condoms in his car. What we know of from the refrigerator is M99. So I can't help but think that he gave him either M99 or M99 and a knife because he was in his kitchen, and they don't show us. So it unless they're just really bad at filmmaking, like, why wouldn't you just show us what the hell they're giving? And it also adds to the joke because Dexter's like, do you know how to use this? It's something of a double entendre where, yeah, I know how to use a condom, but do you know how to use either a knife or M99? Like Harrison's grossed out by it. Like, yeah, I know how to kill people, dude. So yeah, I think, at least I hope, because if it's just a condom, like, guys,
you'll be more pissed about that than the New York Ripper thing. You're like, what about the fucking thing that they didn't show?
It was definitely the goddamn fridge.
Yeah, there's no other reason. Like, the fact that they didn't have a shot of him handing it to him drew my attention to it, where I'm like, I wonder why they didn't show. There must be a secret there. And then I didn't really think too much of it because I was just so into the episode. But I definitely noticed it for a minute, like, shot choice was interesting. And then you brought it up, and I was like, yeah, he didn't show what it was. He just said for protection. So the way that he says it is like a joke for the audience, like it's a rubber, but then it could be revealed next week where, you know, they're both locked up in a room or whatever. And he's like, you got that protection that I gave you? And like,
so guys, I sent Cody a video. I filmed my TV, and as it's playing,
like,
I'm like,
sounds like a fridge.
I'm like,
it's
that's the fridge. That's
confirmed.
the fridge. Like a JFK video. I'm like, back and to the left, watch it. Sorry.
You should have made a video with that fucking red box font, be like, fridge confirmed.
He knew.
Yeah, exactly. Oh my God. So yeah, so you have all of that, and then eventually Prater, like I said, he's super impressed with the fact that Red attacked Charlie, and Dexter calls and sets up this little meet. And before he can even get to this compound, Batista, with no other resources left, basically storms into Prater's office building, I guess, whatever it was, his mansion. And
where the gala is. Well, isn't that all the same complex or something? Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah, I couldn't quite discern. But anyway, he goes to where Prater is and essentially starts fighting with all the bodyguards, and Uma Thurman makes him her bitch really quickly. And he ends up in the office, and they tell everybody to leave, and he's like, "Hey, you got this picture right here, like, what are you doing with Dexter Morgan?" And they're like, "That's Red, whatever." And he's like, "No, that's Dexter Morgan. He worked with me at Miami Metro for 20 years." And Prater just kinda has this look like, "Keep talking." And that was the moment where I'm like, that was where I had my moment from that you had last week, where I'm like, hang on a second. Like, I know he's desperate. I know that he has a one-track mind. I know that he is absolutely hell-bent on bringing Dexter down. But Batista was never an idiot. And even in season 7, when you had LaGuerta with the same hell-bent vendetta, she was never stupid. She never, like, lost who she was as a character. Dexter just got the better of her like he did everybody else. And, they never had to, like, water her down to make it work. But you have this situation where, to me, I'm immediately thinking, so Batista, for all intents and purposes, knows without a shadow of a doubt that Dexter is the BHB. And he knows that the Bay Harbor Butcher is a killer who only targets other serial killers. And he's really, like, confused about, like, who the fuck is this guy that Dexter's with? Like, and he's so concerned about this guy Prater, who he is, because he figures out where he's at, that he's going to go tell him and warn him, like, "Hey, like, you're in the Bay Harbor Butcher's warpath." Well, you're only in Bay Harbor Butcher's warpath if you're fucked up or if you're a serial killer or whatever. So the fact that he never thought I might be walking into some serious danger bothered me.
Plus, it also knocks the feed out of the lore that you're setting up for the season. Like, this is a super rich dude that, like, I would have assumed that he has plenty of power because he's got a shit ton of money. Why would you just think that you can go up to him and talk to him? Like they've had hurdles before in seasons. Again, going back to old seasons where, they've had some sort of red tape to get through. Like, yeah, the fact that he takes the picture in the same episode and just walks up to him without a badge and all this other shit, like no sort of processing. He doesn't have his hotel room where he's got all the red lines and the tape. Like, you're not even at all curious about Prater and, a super rich dude talking to Dexter. Like,
it feels like, what's the rush?
Right.
Like, I know she basically told him to get out of New York, but it's not like if he's just there doing citizen shit, she's gonna take him out. It wasn't like the Old West where it's like you got 24 hours to get out of town or we're gonna have a fucking square off. And so it felt like what's the rush? Like, you've been meticulously following him for the last month? And now all of a sudden it's like it has to happen now. This is the only move I have and I have to make it today. It felt rushed to me, to where you had to make him a foolish character to get it to happen now. So it leaves off with Prater kind of giving that look of curiosity, and then you get another great needle drop. The music was great in this episode. Another great needle drop where Dexter's putting on a little fake thumbprint again, and he's marching into the Prater estate like a fucking rebel without a cause. And I love the shot where he's in the elevator and then he walks towards, and it kind of gives that mirror image of himself. And it opens up and he ends up where Prater's at, and he's walking with him. And then I even felt a little odd that he walked in so confident and half-cocked, because he's not worried about where Charlie is, even though he threatened her. He just walks in confident. Like, he doesn't even have M99 on him, I don't think. He just has the knife, because I don't remember her pulling an M99 out of his pocket whenever she pulls everything out. But she gets a drop on him with a gun, and Prater says, "Hello, Dexter Morgan," or whatever. And, now he knows, like, okay, well, I don't know how the fuck he figured this out, but, the cat's out of the bag. And they lead him into this vault. And I said this, I thought the same thing. And then last night you were like, I don't know if you noticed. And I'm like, oh, I fucking noticed. Whenever the vault opens and you get a little bit of light, and all of a sudden you see the silhouette of a body on the table. And I was like, oh, fuck, not now. No, not this week. And yeah, so you have him go in there. Batista's strapped up on the table that he killed his brother on.
Dude, the weird thing is, it's only an extra minute or two after that. Why not end the episode with Batista on the table? And we're like, oh, we got to wait 7 days for this. Like, it's interesting. Like you said, the rush. What is the rush? You have extra time. So, like, why do this? But go on. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to
I
cut
think
you
they
off.
want something like that to be the end of the episode so that they can create all the buzz and get all of the clicks and really boost the ratings for the finale. But yeah, anyway, so I loved the fanboy moment, and I knew that whenever it was revealed, no matter how it was revealed, that Prater was going to think the Bay Harbor Butcher shit was going to be awesome. He wasn't going to be like betrayed or anything. He was going to be like, "Holy fuck, this is cool." And so I loved Peter Dinklage's acting in this moment where he comes in. He's like, "Yeah, you know, your buddy Batista here told us that you were the Bay Harbor Butcher, and I think it's fantastic." And you know, and he's like nerding out, like, "You fucking infiltrated in." He's like, "Lowell didn't just disappear, and Red didn't either. Like, you took him out. How'd you do it?" Like he's just like nerding out in front of him. And
Mhm.
I love the moment where he's like, "I'm not going to tell you these details," while he's laying there, and he's like, "Oh yeah," ooh,"
Yeah,
and he's like holds his earmuffs him really quick. I thought that was hilarious. So they have that whole thing, and then Prater essentially offers him a deal of like, he says that he basically bankrolled Gemini, like, he, organized all the people for him. He's like, "I wanna do that for you. Like, I have connections to serial killers all over the globe." And I think that was a very important thing that we'll get
Mhm.
back to, that he said that. He said, "I have info on serial killers all over the globe. I want to, like, lure them here for you, so you could just take them out one by one." And you know, for a moment there, Dexter was like, "That's, like, the perfect fucking scenario for
Mhm.
me. Do I dare?"
I think he said it like
Uh,
internally. He's like, why did you steal my idea or something like that. He says something like internally that is
yeah,
quite similar
yeah.
to
"Why
that.
don't you offer me that shit 2 weeks ago?" Um Yeah, and so then he's looking at that and he's like, "So how does he fit into this equation?" And he goes, "Oh, well, he's your price of admission," and hands him this gun. And Charlie, like, is like,
Knife.
"Hey, wait a minute." Huh?
Knife. It's a knife.
Did I say gun?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I meant knife. Yeah, he hands him a knife, and then Charlie's like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa," and he's like, "Shut up, bitch. I know what I'm doing." And gives him the knife and essentially is like, you know, you have to kill him and then we're good. And I never thought for a second that Dexter was gonna kill Batista.
No.
You know, I had said weeks ago, like, that's what people were wanting. They wanted, like, Batista's gonna end up on Dexter's table, and I'm like, that would literally decimate the show for me.
Mhm.
There's no way you would ever earn that. But so he ends up there, and you get this great little internal monologue. He puts his hand on his chest, and Batista, and, you know, Batista's been a danger to me and a danger to my son. Now he knows who I am without a shadow of a doubt. He's never going to stop. And then he lifts the knife up in classic Dexter fashion and then cuts the straps. And then Batista just immediately gets up, sees Red, starts choking him, and gets him on the ground. He's like, you know, this is for Dokes and Maria.
Mm.
You know, your bullshit's got to stop. And there's a
Well,
moment where Dexter's go ahead.
prior to that, right before he cuts him open, he's like, Maybe we could be partners one last time."
Yeah, yeah,
maybe,
yeah.
maybe not.
Yeah, the audience gets hope for, like, a split second. We're like, oh." Yeah, and so he's choking him,
2-on-2.
and there's a moment where Dexter's, like, fighting back, and then he kinda, like, accepts it, and he's like, "There's something poetic about dying at the hands of my friend,"
Mhm.
and I like that little note there,
Mhm.
but we all knew what was gonna happen. Like, it's sitting there all just drawn out the whole time, and you're like, "Even if I didn't know that there was one more episode left, I know what's gonna happen here."
Mhm.
And all of a sudden, gunshots just start showing up all over Batista, and it's Prater behind him. He goes to shoot Dexter too, but Charlie pulls him and he misses and hits like a vase or some shit. Dexter throws a fucking axe and knocks the gun out of Uma Thurman's hand, and then the vault closes, and Peter Dinklage is like this, standing on the other side. And then you get a really great moment as far as acting goes,
Mhm.
where Dexter, you know, adrenaline comes down for a second. He goes back over to Batista. You get that line that we were talking about where it's, you know, there's no coming back from this. There's no God that can save him. And Dexter knows he's only got like a minute left, if that. And so his only priority is to get Batista to understand that the people that he's most vengeful for, I didn't actually kill them, which I was kind of waiting for when that shoe was going to drop, because all season long he's like, this is for Deb and Dokes and Maria. And I'm like, he didn't kill any of those people.
Mhm.
Like, you're right who he is, but he didn't kill any of
Yeah,
those
that's
people.
the irony behind it all. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And so I like that moment where he tells him, like, I need you to know I didn't kill Dokes. I didn't kill Maria. I may be the Bay Harbor Butcher, but I promise you I didn't do that. And just he's hoping these last moments that I can squeeze some bit of resolve out of this, and Batista won't give it to him. And like you said, copying the homework of Breaking Bad. This
Mhm.
is the Ozymandias scene where you have Hank and you have Walter begging him, and he's like, "You're the smartest guy I know. You're too stupid to realize he made up his mind 10 minutes ago." Like, it's that version of that scene.
Mm-hmm.
It's too late.
Mm-hmm.
And Batista tells him it's still your fault.
Fuck
Now I'm
you.
dying, and it was your fault too. And I love that moment because of the twist and the tone of his voice. So you have Michael C. Hall that's like, oh, he's trying so hard to get like even an ounce of resolve out of him. And Batista's got this like I hate you tone to his voice. And then for 1 second he's like, Dexter Morgan. Like it's almost like he's like thinking like almost delirious, thinking back to the guy he used to love. And he leans in with his ear and he goes, fuck you. And then keels over and dies. And for the first time since that first episode of season 5, after he really is able to feel the death of Rita for the first time, you see him just like fucking lose it.
Mm-hmm.
And then hard cut to Mad World, which was another great needle drop. So
did you notice the footage in the background of the credits?
No.
It was like a bunch of like factory shots of people making angel hats. Those.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's another thing that in hindsight I'm like, yeah, I guess he's dead now, huh? Because they show like I don't know if it's literally just like props or how those hats are made, but Angel's a hell of a lot more than a hat. Thank you very much. As a hat wearer, let me say, I'm much more than a hat.
The man underneath the hat. Yeah. So I mean, how did you feel about that whole climax?
Well, prior to seeing the official Dexter account say "Rest in peace, Angel," I was like, "Hold on, just hold on, maybe." Because I was coping so hard. I'm like, all right, so he got shot in his 2 shoulders and nothing in the heart, nothing in the head. So if Dexter could survive a straight shot to his heart, maybe I haven't gone through all the stages of grief just yet, but
you were on denial.
I think I still am on denial. But yeah, it's got to be worth something. Like the fact that it's not a finale. It's like what is the cost? I still haven't processed thoughts. I have a list here. As much as I think I'm pretty grouchy and a killjoy, big time mod and subscriber of the channel, Jacob, out grouched me with. Of course, they use another moment to take things out of Dexter's hand, and I was kind of ahead of Jacob on this. And the big time removals in Dexter is Deb season 8, LaGuerta season 7, Rita season 4, Dokes season 2, and Brian season 1. Of those, only Brian is the one that died by Dexter's hands. And you could add Angel to that list. Where can we have some sort of conflict for Dexter? Like, I'm tired of this pattern of like this really conflicting showdown where someone else does all the dirty work for Dexter. Like it's almost like a joke at this point. This isn't me like
a cop out.
Yeah, like it. And I don't hate this season by any stretch. Like this season is, first 4 season worthy as far as I'm concerned. Just put the fucking wheels on the ground. Don't do anything stupid. Just put the wheels on the ground. It'll be fine. But it doesn't mean that they keep going to their habitual shortcuts. And it's that much more frustrating because, we've earned this. This was such a big showdown. You went to great lengths to make Angel and Dexter's relationship a great big deal in Original Sin. You kind of like retroactively made Angel a bit more important in Dexter's early, time at Miami Metro. Fine. But for the sake of great storytelling, make it matter. And I don't know if Angel getting shot by a billionaire that we only met this year, I don't know if that's good enough with the information that we have. Is it going to be worth something? Is what I say going into episode 10. I was way ahead of you on not really having positive thoughts for the way they were treating Angel's character, and I probably like toned down a bit, but you caught up to me in episode 9. Um, I think that's another reason why I'm in such denial, where it's like it can't be over because this is you kind of wasted another character's ending if it's not something bigger. Like you said, the fact that like Dexter was like accepting the fact that Angel was, you know what, if I got to die, if it's by his hands, fine, I'll let it happen. Poetic, but for not like why do you keep doing this?
Yeah, it's a bit of an overplayed hand at this point. Like, I don't think I wanted Dexter to be in a spot where he has to kill Batista. I think I would have hated that more and I wouldn't have bought it, but I definitely agree with the other side of it of like every time this happens, it kind of feels like like how many times does he need to learn the same lessons in this show? Like it's always about like, oh, he's starting to gain humanity. And it's like we've been saying that shit since season 2. And or you have this one where it's just like no matter what I try, I'm the chaos that brings down other people around me. Everybody dies around me. And it's like, yeah, we've been saying that shit since season 2. And so it does feel a little bit like we're kind of pulling from the same deck here. And this is why it feels so confusing to me of why you would do this. Because to me, like my whole thing that I'm investing in this Dexter Resurrection series for, however many seasons it's going to be, is like, please finally end the show well.
Mm.
Like it's a pain in the fucking ass to be a Dexter fan on the level that you and I are, but always have to caveat of like, but it kind of ends shitty twice. Like even our buddy Brian, like we finally got him to watch Breaking Bad. He fucking loved it. He's getting ready to watch Better Call Saul. And we're like, you need to watch Dexter next. And he's like, all you guys have ever said is that Dexter's great for a while and then it fucking sucks. And it's like, I'm not gonna go through that. And you're like, Brian, just do it. It's hard because you like the greatness of the first 4 seasons and even a lot of the high points of the later seasons is kind of worth trekking through the worst of Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
But it is like I want just for the legacy of the show to be able to say like season 8 is rough, New Blood is a little rough, but then they make up for it at the end. Like they have a little dip there and they come back up to the top. And for as many different scenarios as I've gone through in my brain of how they can end this show, the only one that ever felt satisfying to me is that Batista brings him down.
Right.
He goes to prison. We don't need another ending where he dies because we tried that. It doesn't really work. And it's always hard to kind of stomach that. It's very tricky to do that in a way that's satisfying. And we don't want to do the self-exile thing again.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like you have 2 different paths. We're either going to go for a happy ending this time, which I don't think fits the character, or he loses ending, which the only thing to me that would be interesting is like a Better Call Saul situation where he's like, finally, he has to pay the piper for everything that he's done. He has to own everything. And now he's the Bay Harbor Butcher. Dokes gets exonerated. Everybody gets their resolve and their conclusions and their closure. Batista finally gets to put everything to rest and let Maria and everybody rest in peace. And the fact that chess piece has now been taken off the board, I just sit here going like, okay, I'm trying not to lose faith in you guys because I've been like on cloud 9 for the last 9 weeks. But what now? Like what other cards are you going to play now? Like if we're going to continue down the road of somebody from his past has to eventually get the better of him and catch him, you took the only person in that deck that to me would have a very meaningful end of that. Like if we punt to Quinn, there's not enough that's interesting there. Yeah, he loved Deb. Yeah, he's got a little bit of a moral grayness to him that would make him at least sympathize or understand Dexter as the Bay Harbor Butcher a bit more than maybe Batista was willing to do. Yeah, he was after him in season 5, and that was kind of like this thing that was left hanging after that. But if he's the one to do it, that's not nearly as satisfying as Batista. I kind of brought up the idea this morning when I was talking to you. Like, I wonder if they're going to pull some kind of a weird, like cutesy, dark, humorous thing where Masuka is going to end up being the one that brings him down, like the unassuming other forensic guy. But there's a ton of work they would have to do to make that. And then, like, I guess the only other thing you could have is, like, nobody wants to see Harrison bring him down again, and I think we've shifted away from him even wanting to do that where it wouldn't even make sense. You could have Aster and Cody come back into the fray, but there is even more work to do for that. So, like, I don't know. To me, it was just like, I'm not saying that there was no way to kill Batista in the show and have it be earned and have it feel like this tragic moment that had to happen, but why now?
Right.
It felt like if we're playing chess, it feels like you brought your queen out first and I took it.
Yeah. Yeah. So to the other big removals, none of them have really had reverberations with Dexter's character. Dokes, Rita, LaGuerta, Deb. Some of them have just been downright awful. Like LaGuerta taken out at the end of season 7, season 8. Well, here's this bench. Anyway, on to future shit. Like what was that for? Like you take these giant characters out, and granted, we don't have any time yet, but like what will Angel's death mean? Not only for the show, but for Dexter's character, because they flirt with these really, really incredible dramatic moments for the sake of the character. Like we rewatched season 2 recently, dude. When Dokes is in the cabin and the conversations Dexter and Dokes has, like that's just next level. Like
Yeah.
I don't think you have better drama in this season. And for it to just kind of not really mean anything, like I don't know what's better, to either not have that or to have it and have like a watered down ending to it where it's such a frustrating. It's like having a child who's really talented but always gets arrested.
Yeah, and I actually think that best case scenario, we're looking at another Dokes, where I think most, if not all, Dexter fans are pretty much in unison saying that, like, we love Dokes as a character. We love the back and forth, the intimidation, the rivalry between them. We love how it slowly builds from season 1 and hits its ultimate peak in season 2, and the way all that
Mm.
plays out. But pretty much everybody that says that also says, like, even though season 2 is either the best or the second best for most people, like, it feels like we got rid of Dokes too early.
Hmm.
Feels like there was so much more left on the bone, and I think that's best case scenario, that's what we're looking at with Batista, is we're gonna get 2, 3 more seasons, whatever, of Dexter Resurrection, and let's just say, for argument's sake, they get a good ending where we're satisfied, like, "Okay, cool, I'm cool with that, I'm comfortable." I think we're still, over time, gonna look back and say, "You got rid of Batista too early." There was
Hmm.
still more meat to pull on that, like, for as many people have said, and I've argued tooth and nail over the last couple of weeks, we don't want another season where Batista's chasing Dexter. It's going to be played out at that point.
Why
I'm
not?
like, Dokes did it for 2 seasons and everybody says they wanted more. Like, we got 40 or so minutes of it this season. You can find reasons why he has to back off, or he has hurdles, or you bring Joey Quinn into it, or like there's all these different things that you can have to change up the game a little bit. It doesn't have to be just him following right behind his fucking scent. But I just don't. You can't convince me, and hopefully they will next week. You can't convince me that that was the best decision to make for the overall show. Was it a shocking moment? Was it emotional? Was it well acted? Was it, tense, dramatic, all that stuff? All the emotions I should feel during a big death like that, I felt, but I didn't want to feel it in episode 9 of season
Right.
1.
Right. Yeah.
It's like, like we did the Breaking Bad comparison. It's like this, we're not heading into Ozymandias. We still have presumably 2 more seasons to go. It's like Hank dying in season 3 of Breaking Bad. It's like it doesn't hit the same unless it's literally at the climax of the show.
Yeah, I think part of my issue, going back to if you recall in the beginning, I was like, I don't know, give me a little bit more time on this. I felt like there was too much. Like there was the 3-headed monster that was Angel, Harrison, Dexter. Once you have like serial killer Fight Club, shove Angel to the side. Like this whole Prater thing with all of the greatest serial killers in the world, that could be more than enough for 2 seasons. And you just kind of check in on Angel every now and again. It feels like they bit off so much more than they can chew. And oh, by the way, New York Ripper and Blessing, because we just have so many things we want to talk about.
Mhm.
I think without knowing where episode 10 goes, in hindsight, they've stacked so much shit, and I don't know if they properly planned, or uh, I don't know what the best way to divvy that out would be. But again, like you said, maybe less of Angel, but Angel's just kind of working his way through things, and it could have been a bit better if it were a 2-season arc. And like I don't know, I need more work. But if Wallace ends up being like the one that tracks Dexter down, okay. But like I need more
Not
work with the.
okay.
Well, like it's 2 seasons from now. I mean, shit.
Mhm.
If you asked either of us this point during New Blood how we'd feel about Harrison in another season, we both would be like, no more. So
Yeah.
there is hope, but like it needs work. You need to work on it. I think I told you in our discussions today something that I guess I feel like could be, with work, could be acceptable to me with what you have left. It is Quinn, and only for like the romantic, poetic way that Quinn is also morally questionable. Like he steals money from crime scenes and stuff. So they both aren't you know by the letter of the law, but you need to do more work because Quinn flirted with catching Dexter in season 5. You need to like resume that and then fill out that storyline for it to work for me. But like on what we have right now, I I don't like what our options are with one episode left in a season. So it's you can win me back, but I'm skeptical of where this could go.
Yeah. The abusive husband is starting to raise his voice a lot now, and you're like like, get that funny feeling again, like, do I need to lock the door?
It's 3 a.m. and
Uh,
you're still out. Can you
yeah,
just
yeah,
call me,
exactly.
please?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I hate that feeling. If we didn't have season 8 and New Blood, I wouldn't be as on the defense, but now it's just like, it smells like disappointment in here. Like, it just you're starting to get that familiar feeling of like, are we gonna fucking fumble it at the finish line again? But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, like, before we speculate on episode 10, one thing I wanted to ask you. So I don't know if you got to this point in my video or not, but I had said something where, I slept on it. And one of the things which we already kind of talked about that just I felt very uneasy about was dumbing down Batista so much to make all this work. And even though I totally understand that they're going for like he's hell bent, he sees red, he's got tunnel vision, and just adrenaline, everything like I get all of that. But what do you think about this one little simple change here? So you have everything play out exactly the same, where Batista gets captured, Dexter's brought into the vault, Prater gives him the deal, says you have to kill Batista, and then we can start doing business together. Dexter raises the knife and then cuts the fucking straps loose. But the only change is that Batista gets off the table, Dexter gives him the knife that he has, and he grabs the fucking axe behind him. And you get, for an extra 5 seconds, hope, and like maybe even a wide shot of like, oh fuck, they're gonna show down and they're gonna fight together. Like, and then right when you get that feeling of comfort, Batista plunges the knife into Dexter. Like, not fatally, obviously, but he plunges the knife into Dexter. They go to the ground and they fight that way. And everything else plays out exactly the same. To me, what it does, it's still the same outcome, but it takes away Batista being a fool.
Yeah.
Which is like, I'm gonna choke you while there's 2 people who are clearly dangerous in the same room with weapons that I've seemingly forgot all about. And to me, it's like, if we're trying to sell that Batista is willing to die as long as he takes Dexter with
Yep.
him, to me, that sells it.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. Like he's so fueled by making sure he gets justice with Dexter. Like I'm done. I realize that there's no shot for me here, but you're coming with me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
No, I agree with you. And I don't know. There's a lot of there's a portion of Dexter fans out there, fanboys, whatever, that Dexter needs to capitalize at all times. Like, it concerns me at times. Like, I get it. He's to you, he's the hero, but Dexter's a bad guy. Like, he's an anti-hero. Like,
You should look at the comments on my video where I was ranting on people wanting Batista to die, because I say that in the video. I'm like, it's like you guys forget that Dexter ultimately is a villain, and the amount of people that will argue tooth and nail that he's not a villain and he's for the greater good and Dexter should be in every city and everything, and it's like, okay.
Yeah, it's concerning, and for as much as I'm glad that Dexter at no real point they've flirted with social stuff, but never really taken a stance one way or another. They've been very open to cover both perspectives. I'm not trying to say there's any sort of political stuff involved there. They kind of touch on things one way or another. If you're of one party or the other, there's stuff in that show for all of you. But he's morally gray, which at the very least should tell you that he's not the hero. If you need to hear that he's morally gray, that's enough. He's not Superman. If anything, he's Batman, who isn't completely
Shit,
always
he's more
right.
like Deadpool.
I was trying to be polite, like
the Punisher. Yeah.
Yeah, like I mean, I get it. It's badass. I mean, there have been so many moments. That car ride in episode 7, I might as well have been just masturbating through that whole thing. Like, yes, this is awesome.
Yes.
But like at the same time, like for the sake of great stories and stuff, you there's the things that have got to come together. And again, they're copying the homework of Breaking Bad. Spoiler, but the anti-hero goes down and it's satisfying. Like, yeah, you know what? That's what happens when you do bad shit. Like, that's what storytelling's supposed to be. It's,
every single show that I can think of that has a bad guy or an anti-hero as the protagonist, they have to pay the piper. Whether it's Breaking Bad, The Sopranos, The Shield, Sons of Anarchy, there's no... Like, the only show I can think of where you ride off into the sunset quite literally is Banshee, but that's a bad guy who becomes a good guy throughout the show. It's not quite the same thing. But every show where it's like, yeah, there are protagonists, they're badasses, we like them, but they're fucking like murdering people left and right. They've caused or inadvertently or directly all these collateral damage deaths. Like, it's not satisfying for us to have an ending where him and Harrison fucking lock arms and the dark passenger's gone forever and they go fucking live in Argentina. Like, it's not gonna work.
Yeah.
And there's some people that want that, or if anything, they just want Dexter seasons till 2054, where it's just like, keep going. And it's like, you remember what happened last time we kept going?
Yeah.
A show should have an end in sight. That's when you end on peak. You don't just keep going until it's fucking watered down, recycled ideas, which we've been through arguably twice.
No, not arguably. Definitely twice. I don't know. I think to get, Dexter, the hero, to go out on top, like, you need to have, the at what cost thing, which, again, every time someone close to Dexter has been taken out, it's not by Dexter. So we don't experience our hero making difficult decisions. And that's what's frustrating from a dramatic standpoint. Like, if you just want to watch Street Fighter every week with, your hero taking down big serial killers, that's fine. But like, there's not much story to that. It's just, you're watching a fighting game. But what makes it exciting, what has garnered its fandom, is the dramatics, is the juxtaposition between good and evil, and the morally gray stuff. It gets you talking, like, oh, if I were in that situation, what would I do? It's if it were as easy as good, bad, like, who to root for, but you don't here, and it's not one thing or another. Like, the fact that so many people are just like, Shame Angel's gotta die. It's like, does he? Like, why does he gotta die? Wait a minute, what are you talking about?
Dude, love her to death. My wife is one of them.
No.
We watched episode was either episode 7 or 8, and she's like, "I'm ready for him to die," and I was like,
You'll be hearing from my lawyer.
just spent like 2.5 hours editing a video calling out motherfuckers like you, and now I'm sleeping next to one of them. Explain yourself. But yeah, I don't know. We all experience stories differently, but like, yeah, I mean, for some reason, there's people that just you love the protagonist so much. But even if it's for good reasons, even if it's narratively the best route to go, anybody that stands in their way, time to go, bitch.
Mhm.
And yeah, I'm on a different planet. But anyway, that's why they say opposites attract. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I had said earlier on that if they kill Batista, it's going to destroy the show for me. I think more specifically, it was if Dexter was going to have him on the table, because that's what
Mhm.
everybody was saying. That would have destroyed the show for me. This didn't destroy the show for me. It didn't destroy the season for me. I think as far as the execution of it all, the acting, the way it was shot, the setup story-wise and everything, I think they executed it very well. I just feel like it's too early. And now I'm just sitting here uneasy about like, well, what if you're gonna take this out of the deck, you better have something better in mind. And I would love to have faith that the writers can think of shit that I can't, because there's something enticing about now I have no idea where we're heading. Where before I would have bet body parts this whole Dexter Resurrection thing was going to be about a slow build of Batista versus Dexter. Obviously that's out. But I just hope it's because you have something better in mind, not because you just sacrificed your best ending to shock everybody.
Well, the internet has scraped every possible scenario, and Astor is the New York Ripper, so
Yes.
thank God the writers have thought of that. I forgot where I was going, and I made a joke and forgot what the fuck I was gonna say. God damn it, stupid jokes. With what's left, we have episode 10. What seems to be the most logical way to go to close this out?
I mean, I have my doubts that Charlie is gonna die. I feel like Charlie's gonna help Dexter somehow, or at least allow it to happen. But I think it's pretty clear we're gonna end up with, like, certain story beats that I would bet damn near a testicle on is that Prater's gonna end up on his table by the end of it. Joey Quinn is at least going to be teased that he's coming to New York, if not shown in New York. And there's gonna be a very direct tease that New York Ripper is gonna be the main villain of season 2. And I have an idea in my head of how they're gonna do that. So to me, it was a very deliberate and important line when Prater says, "I have connections to serial killers all over the globe." One of the lingering questions that we've had since episode 6 or 7 is you had Claudette giving that whole presentation of the New York Ripper, and they're like, "We don't even know what weapon he uses." And Dexter's the one that points him towards the manhole hook. One, because of his blood spatter analysis, and two, because he's already fucking seen the weapon. But their lingering question is, if the FBI doesn't even know what weapon this guy uses, how the fuck did Prater get a hold of the weapon? It's not like it was in evidence somewhere.
Mhm.
To me, that very clearly means he knows who the New York Ripper is. If
Mhm.
he's not the New York Ripper himself, which I still have my doubts on that too, but we'll just go on the assumption that it's not him. He's going to die at the end of the season. He knows who the New York Ripper is. So I could see a scene by the end of season 10 or of episode 10, either before he's killed or in flashback form after he's killed, where he calls up the New York Ripper, contacts him in some way, or goes and meets him somewhere and says, "The Bay Harbor Butcher's alive. His name is Dexter Morgan. He's in New York City. This is your greatest kill. Go." And then he ends up on the table, but now he has set the New York Ripper on the path to find Dexter, and it's going to be them versus each other in season 2. And if they already have the person cast, it would be a double whammy of not only teasing it's going to happen, but then having the camera show, like it's not going to be him, but like imagine a conversation where like Prater's on the phone with somebody saying like, it's the New York Ripper. It's time for him to come back. The Bay Harbor Butcher's in town. You got to show him that you're the best serial killer. And then it cuts to the other person on the phone, and it's like Bryan Cranston or something like that. Like some big name where you're like, oh, it's going to be him and Michael C. Hall. Like, I feel like something like that is going to happen.
Yeah.
Or by the end of the episode, there's just going to be a new New York Ripper killing.
I think if you were to make me bet my gallbladder or my gallbladder surgery,
What's left of it, what they still haven't gotten
a
out.
successful gutting of my gallbladder, if you were to make me bet that, which I'm in no business to do, I would be tempted to say that New York Ripper isn't someone that is Dexter universe a big deal, and I think it's either going to be a thing that's a setup for the next season, or something that isn't resolved in this episode. I don't think we're going to get a resolution for New York Ripper in episode 10. Like, I don't think it's going to be like, Blessing, it's you? Oh my goodness. Like, I don't think it's going to be as simple as that. But I do think one way or another to tie the knot on season 10, it's got to be either Charlie or Prater on the table. And I tend to think that because Charlie is doing this for, blackmail reasons, she might end up helping Dexter.
Mm-hmm.
And because Prater has connections, Dexter can take Prater out and still, maybe Charlie helps Dexter with the files or whatever, and Dexter, Charlie
goes abroad.
right. So Prater's out of the picture. Charlie gets to go do whatever the fuck with her mother, and Dexter has new people to hunt. Like that, I guess, is the most open-ended for me, where it's like, okay, you could work with this a little bit and either work on Harrison or Quinn or whatever else you're going to do with the New York Ripper or whatever. Like, if it's something like it's fucking Blessing, I'm going to be like, don't care. Don't fucking care. I'm sorry.
Yeah. I'm with you. Like I said, it was fun to speculate on, but when it was episode 6 or episode 7 and there was still time to maybe do something with that, it was more plausible. The last 2 times I've talked about the New York Ripper, I'm like, hey, my favorite theory is this, but the most likely theory is that it's just going to be a tease and it's going to just set up the eventual new big bad, and we've never met them. It's not going to be a Scooby-Doo moment or anything like that.
Yeah.
And I think that at some point, Gigi is going to be used to draw out Harrison in order to draw out Dexter. Like they're either going to kidnap her or kill her or something to get Harrison out into the open, to get Dexter out into the open. I think that's going to happen as well. Like, if there's going to be some function for her character, she's not just going to be the random chick that he starts fucking in the last 3 episodes.
Well,
and also, if she gets killed, it brings him back to, is it Elsa, who's kind of been absent, because clearly that was like, that was like the thing they were really building, is like what he really wants to do, who he really wants to be with, and then he just kind of detoured for some quick ass.
It's the other thing too, going back to, like, narratively speaking, we haven't seen the New York Ripper active. Over the course of this season, he's been retired. His weapon is currently on a museum wall. So it'd be weird for us to experience all of this past tense Ripper stuff. For like, it's one thing if you cliffhang and have it go into season 2 that, Ripper's back, but there's been no activity over the course of this entire season. He's out of practice, out of work. I mean, even Prater says it's been a while since he did something or whatever, but Prater has his weapon. So what would make you think that he's currently active if his weapon is, on a wall somewhere? Again, as far as what they've shown us is concerned, it doesn't make sense to me if the Ripper were somehow part of the resolution this season. I'm not saying that it's not something that can happen moving forward, but there's been no activity with him for this. It's again, I don't know how much weight to give certain aspects of things, but there is some elements here that just aren't going to get paid off. Like Elsa, we haven't heard from in 2 episodes. The fact that, if Blessing's mother wanted people to have cats, like, that was a thing for an episode, and then like I thought maybe there was going to be something. I think I saw this on someone's, blessings, the New York Ripper, and you
Cats
know
are the trophies.
that's I think that's I don't know, that's close to or part of what I've seen. Like, oh, the New York Ripper keeps trinkets in the cats, and Dexter's going to find out the hard way. Which, okay, but I haven't seen that fucking cat since episode 3 or 4 or whatever. It just doesn't make sense for the sake of flow. There have been things that, for the sake of filling out 10 hours, fine. Elsa has just been MIA for 2 episodes now, 3 episodes. Suddenly Gigi is in the picture and going to Chowtown. Um, there's these shifts. And as far as 9 into 10 is concerned, some things don't really make sense to just pop back into the picture. And Elsa would be one of them. And I'm sorry, Blessing, it's been so weird. Like everything about that has been so odd. Like someone who thought that the Blessing's son-in-law would be the Ripper because he works on gastroenterology or whatever. Just like, I mean, okay, but like really, there's too much. There's too much of this internet sleuth shit where
People like to be detectives and they get one little ironic tie and they're like, oh, I've solved the case. And, like there's a lot of people, of course, like YouTubers and TikTokers and people who are shameless about it are just going to take that and they're going to fucking mine it for views. That's why, like, when I did the Jonah Mitchell thing, I at least thought out like how this could be set up, why they would do it, what implications it would have for Dexter, what would be the narrative purpose of it, not just see it's a hook, it must be Jonah. Bye, guys. And so, like that's why to me, like I think the most likely is we're gonna punt to next season. It's gonna be some new A-list casting or whatever. But my 2 favorite theories, just for narrative reasons, is Cody Bennett, because I think it would be really fascinating to have a situation where Dexter has 2 different sons, one that he failed and is in the process of saving, one that he absolutely failed and is unsavable and has to face the fact that he might have to take him down. Like there's a lot of fascinating story you could do there if you execute it right.
it
And
needs work, though.
similarly,
Right?
for sure, it's not an easy thing. And then the other one, which on the similar note, is Jonah Mitchell, which, we left him in season 6 where he just killed his mom and his sister committed suicide. And it's just supposed to be like, how am I supposed to deal with this? You just deal with it, kid. And then like, that's a perfect place to leave as something that's unresolved that can come back. And the implications for Dexter having to face off against somebody that he kind of could have saved, but didn't really do a whole lot to save him and just kind of left him to his own devices. He didn't have a Harry. And also the implications for Harrison of, the new big bad who's out there killing right now, who my dad is trying to hunt down. That's the son of the guy that killed my mom. Like I might be able to get some resolve for my mom's death by taking this dude out myself. And now you got Harrison on this hellbent path, Dexter trying to stop him. Like there's, again, whatever story, whatever decision is going to create some great drama and some really cool things that we haven't seen from Dexter's character. That's the thing that I'm most in favor of. Like, yeah, you can excite me with a badass casting, like Bryan Cranston's going to be the big bad of season 2. Cool. My dick's hard. I'm not going to lie about that. But that doesn't have any story implications for Dexter. It's just another big bad.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I don't know how popular my series finale idea is with everyone, but what's rule
Dog shit.
Yeah.
No, go ahead.
What's rule 1 of the code? Don't get caught. Have the series end with Dexter voluntarily turning himself in. Like, not fun, not sexy, but
well, along those lines, I've said this as to me that the most satisfying ending of the show of all the times that the first 2 rules of the code have been in contention with each other, where it's like I have the choice of getting caught and breaking rule number 1 or having the death of an innocent that allows me to escape, which is breaking rule number 2. Rule number 2 always gets broke.
yeah.
Whether it's LaGuerta, Dokes, fucking the coach on the last season, he always chooses to preserve his own freedom over the life of an innocent. to me, the most satisfying, like, character ultimate growth, like, ultimate evolution of Dexter is to have him be in a situation where he chooses to preserve the second rule in order to break the first one, and I thought Batista would have been the perfect person with that, where it's like, either Batista's gonna die or I'm fucking going down for this, and have him be to a point where he's grown so much as a character where he can make the conscious choice of, I'm not going to kill Batista, or I'm not gonna let Batista die. I'm gonna go down for this and break rule number 1. And, like, even if you wanna have it be, like, not a fully depressing ending, like, almost like Better Call Saul, where he just gets life in prison or whatever, and there's fucking murderers and
Yeah.
rapists and shit in prison where he can still kinda do his thing. Like, you can end with, like, a little cheeky, like, voiceover of, like, let's get to work," or something like that, where
Right.
he's caught, everybody gets their conclusion or their closure, but he can still kinda kick ass in prison, and then God kno 10 years from now, fucking Dexter locked up, whatever the hell
Right.
it is, you go back.
Right. Yeah. Like, sacrificing rule number 1 to maintain rule number 2, I think that, like, they've teased that a couple of times. And
Yeah.
I'm not saying, like, just have Dexter turn himself in for no dramatic purpose, just like that's the end of the show. Like, it's gotta
Like
mean
7.
something.
Detective!
Yeah, it's gotta mean something, don't get me wrong. 10-episode season. "Oh, I'm here. I'm done."
Yeah. Yeah.
Someone brought up Lumen before.
Yeah, I've heard that brought up a number of times.
On its face, I think it's not a great idea, but with some lubrication, if you can kind of story tell your
You
way
can get
into
the head in there. Yeah.
Gotta get a little hard on that.
I don't hate that idea because that was one of the most, like, just totally unsatisfying conclusions to a season. Like, I'm a big fan of season 5 overall, but I hate the ending of it because it just feels like we're just gonna cut everything off at its knees so that we can wrap up the season with a nice little bow, and Dexter can get away with everything. Like, that was the perfect time for me for Deb to find out, and then Lumen just waking up the next day and be like, "Yeah, thanks for killing all the people with me. Bye." Like, that just no, the darkness is gone. That I never bought that. So yeah, having her come back in some capacity, there's a version of that I would be a big fan of.
Yeah, and Jade, I've kind of touched on it. If Al, who is the ponytail killer, if somehow he touches base with Lumen, or maybe Lumen finds out who he is, and she's kind of going to avenge Al, and Dexter and Lumen meet up, and then Lumen, they rekindle things, and then they're spending time being natural born killers again. But over the course of this season or series, Lumen's like, wait, you're doing things, you're being a little selfish about things. Then she decides to take him out. Like, again, this is over the course of 20, 30 episodes, but I think there's a way you can
Lumen taking out Dexter, I'm not a fan of. So
with
her coming back in some capacity, yes, being the one who actually brings him down.
well,
If that was your idea, J-Dev.
yeah, I think with what we have right now, you're gonna have to work on closing this out, regardless of what we have moving forward, because Angel's gone. Like, the most satisfying at this moment is what, Quinn, and that needs work.
Yeah,
Like, what's the most satisfying for you?
it's gone. That's the whole thing.
No
That's
satisfaction.
that's the whole thing.
I will not
Like,
be
it's
satisfied.
yeah. I mean, like, I want to leave open a bit of faith that I'm just thinking of all the obvious places to go, and the writers are like, we got something in store for you can't even think of. Like, I hope that's the case, but history with Dexter has taught me otherwise. So I tend to err on the side of you fucked up. Yeah, Quinn. I mean, I like Quinn as a character, but Quinn was never as beloved as a character as Batista. He was never as closely tied to Dexter, at least as a friend, to have that ultimate betrayal as Batista. And so, like, if we're just gonna use Batista as a function to be like the one that was too much for Dexter, I fine, but at what cost? Like, what are we leading to then? If it's just gonna be Quinn's gonna take up the mantle and him and Masuka are gonna team up and fucking finish everything that Batista started, like, I just don't see a way where that's gonna be as captivating for me. Like, having him and Quinn face off, we've already seen that in season 5. So this is just going to be another version of that, only he's a little more hell-bent this time, a little bit more seasoned, maybe a little smarter about it. Doesn't have RoboCop on his side. Like I just don't see that being the best choice.
Do you see parallels to Gigi with Deborah? Because I've noticed that she's a little sassy with her tongue. She's a little snarky with the way she says shit. I'm wondering if she's like an implant sort of replacement moving forward for Deb, with the female who's a bit snarky, sharp tongue.
I haven't made that connection, no. But now that you bring up Deb, though, whoever wrote season 8 needs to fucking burn in hell, because Deb taking down Dexter was always the ending that felt right, and that was fucking wiped off the chessboard with a goddamn shotgun.
Yeah. I don't. The options that we have at the moment.
Oh my God, the New York Ripper's Detective Matthews. Captain Matthews. He knew. He always knew.
Yeah, Lundy's son. I don't even know if does Lundy have a son.
Oh God, yeah, don't do that. There's a point where the connections have to stop. Like, again, like the thing you were pitching earlier with like Al, he escapes, but he ends up chasing after Lumen. It's like, of all the fucking odds, like, no, I don't want something contrived like that.
It's contrived just for the sake of fan service too, where it's like,
yes.
So you want to do that because you know that face? Like, we didn't know who Gemini was going into this season, and man, that was pretty intense, man. This Prater thing, with the fact that he knows of all these serial killers. Dexter kills killers, so should be enough, shouldn't it? Like, I mean, you could ride that one out for a couple of seasons. At least I would hope. I don't know. Someone asked what your rating for episode 9 would be.
I don't know. I don't really give number ratings to episodes because you're rating
a piece of the story. Yeah.
Yeah, just number ratings in general, I'm kind of tired of. Like, I don't know if I'm ever going to get to a point where I stop giving them to movies, because I would end up getting annoyed at the number of people that ask for the next 10 years why I stopped doing it. But like, to me, if you watch an hour-long video of us or me talking about the episode, you should be able to get some kind of an idea of where we are. If you need a number to spell that out, to me, you've either just skipped to the end of the video or you were never paying attention. Like, this is not in me talking to the person that dropped the comment, but just in general, I get a lot of comments like that frustrate me. We're like, once in a blue moon, I'll forget to put the graphic up of my number rating. And somebody's like, what's your number rating? And I'm like, can you not get an idea from the 30 minutes I was talking about the movie of where I stand on it? Like,
but numbers are objective. What is the difference between numbers are objective? That's what it is.
Or you get the thing where it's like, you gave this movie 3.5, but you gave this movie a 3.4, and you seem more positive on this, and they were 10 years apart, so explain yourself. And I'm like,
yeah, it's not math. It's not this science.
Yeah. Usually that's kind of an afterthought for me anyway. I'm like, I don't fucking 3.75 out of 5, whatever. And then you just put it on there. But yeah, I don't know. I don't even like it, for the most part, even reviewing episode by episode anymore, because like with New Blood, it was tricky because like I wanted to believe in it so much that I was like, I think I was convincing myself I was having more fun than I was. And then the things that were bugging me, this feels like it's weird and it's not resolved, and they're like, well, it could get answered in the next episode. I'm like, I'm not fucking reviewing the next episode, I'm talking about this one. And so like it's so tricky, you can't really win with it. But this season's been fun to do episode by episode and speculate and nerd out about shit.
We have an episode left. If they don't resolve anything, which I really sincerely doubt they do, how would you feel about this season as a whole?
If they don't resolve anything?
Well,
like
theoretically, they cancel episode 10. We'll come back next year. Like, if this were the end of the season, how would you feel about things?
It'd probably be right there along season 5 for me, of like a season that I was really along for the ride, and then you let me down at the very end. But it didn't like decimate the season or whatever. Like to me, the only seasons that are like as close to flawless as you can get, or actually flawless, is 1, 2, and 4. Season 3, I used to be much higher on. This most recent watch, I was like, it does drag quite a bit. It does take a long time to get there, and they take Miguel out an episode early, and you know, there's flaws that I had with that season, this most recent watch, that never really stood out to me before. And so 3, I think you have the upper echelon, which is 1, 2, and 4. Right below that, you have 3 and 5. A sliver below that, I'm pretty high on season 7 more than most people. It's
I
a
would put
flawed
7
season,
above
but
5, to be honest with you. But I'm sorry.
yeah,
Go on.
they're close. You know, 3, 5, 7. We'll say that. Then you have 6, which is just like the first objectively disappointing bad season of Dexter, but there's still at least the charm of classic Dexter in there. And there's good moments. I like Brother Sam. I think the gore in the season is good. There's redeeming factors in it. I like the Nebraska episode. Some people really hate that episode. I like the kind of detour. Then you have New Blood in season 8 for me, which I think New Blood is better as a season than season 8. Season 8's just like nothing but bad. But New Blood has such a crushing disappointment of an ending, and it has no personality, no fun, no color, it's just devoid of everything that I like about Dexter, that I think it's easily runner-up as worst season. And so if you have those categories, for me, up until episode 9, it's like, dude, this is like 1, 2, and 4 level. Now I think it's right there at 3 and 5, where it's like, okay, I don't feel comfortable with what you're doing now. I don't, unless you just have some major fucking surprises in store for the next episode that just totally redeems everything. And I hope they do. I hope I eat my words.
Yeah.
Then we can go back up to that. But for me, this is like major improvement from the last couple. Still a good step below peak Dexter for me.
I think the highs of Resurrection are better than the highs of season 3, 5, or 7.
I would agree with that.
But the lows are perhaps lower, which is fucking bizarre to say that. But
yeah,
if they could,
I mean, with the exception of maybe LaGuerta hunting down Dexter in season 7, like to me, that was like the storyline that felt like peak Dexter in the later half. With the exception of that, I would agree that the highs of this season have matched the echelon of the top tier, but then it has these moments where it's like, you cheated to do that. Why is this character here? Like I didn't feel that way watching the first 4 seasons for the most part, where it's just like, none of this feels like filler. None of this feels contrived. None of this feels like we're tired with ideas, or we're recycling things, or we're yet again getting Dexter a get out of jail free card. It was just like absolute addiction storytelling.
Yeah. Like during when Dokes was in the cabin, did it matter that Angel and Lila were like fucking doing a thing on the side? Like it really didn't matter. You weren't like, who's the New York Ripper? It was like, fucking Dokes is in a fucking cage right now. This is awesome. So I think if the main course is good enough, it doesn't really matter what the sides are. And it's such a puzzling. When it's great this season. But when it's not, it's confusingly so. I think it has the potential to be certainly in the top half. Whether or not it
sails into the top half for me, unless they just absolutely decimate the next episode.
Yeah. With season 8 and New Blood in the back of my mind, they certainly can fuck up a season with the ending. I think this...
They fucked up New Blood with the last 12 minutes. That whole last episode was like, hey, you're landing the plane. What are you doing? Like,
no, not the trees. Take it away from the trees. So, I if they don't do anything extravagant, I think this season is top half material. Someone asked how we feel about Original Sin season 2 being canceled.
I'm not surprised or upset at all.
Right.
And I don't know if that's a hot take or not. It seems like there's a petition. People are like really upset about it. Like, here's my take on it. I was pleasantly surprised by Original Sin. I hated the first episode. I was like, this is exactly what I feared it was going to be, just fucking fan service bullshit. And I grew to really enjoy it. But the biggest flaw with that season for me is typical prequel problems where it's like you're making everything an Easter egg gotcha thing or a little fucking little wink and nod moment when it doesn't need to be there, and everything with Brian Moser where it's like I don't want or need all this extra stuff in the background. I don't need to know that Harry had an extra son and that's why he was so protective of Dexter. To me, I didn't need extra validation for that. It just him finding this kid in a pool of blood was enough for me always. So you're adding shit that I don't need. The whole thing with Brian was always there causes some narrative issues for me. They were dancing on the line of retcon that entire season.
I don't think they were dancing. I think they were splashing retcons.
Well, especially with the Patrick Dempsey character, to me that was like, so there was a massive serial killer that was inside of Miami Metro long before the Bay Harbor Butcher, and when the Bay Harbor Butcher season comes along, they're like, "Oh my god, he's from Miami Metro. This has never happened before."
That office would have been closed.
Yeah,
no more
so
Miami Metro.
It's like you fuck up the whole continuity by doing shit and trying to be clever there. To me, the potential for them to go even farther and really step on their dick was exponential for a season 2 onward. So I think it's a worthy to not take that risk. It's like, okay, you did Original Sin, people liked it overall, it was fun. I would say that I'd probably stick that above season 6 pretty easily, and then it's like it's below all the classic seasons that I like, but I enjoy it. But beyond just not wanting to take the risk of explaining even more, you know, I didn't even, the only potential that I kind of liked was maybe Brian Moser was the one that killed Harry, because I've never been completely comfortable with the whole thing of Harry committed suicide. But I didn't need that. But the potential of them retconning the fuck out of everything and convoluting things is gone. But to me, there's no need to split your creative team for Dexter into 2 different shows. Put all your best people onto Dexter Resurrection. It's working. It's working very well. Put all your eggs into that basket. When Michael C. Hall is playing Dexter, as good as Patrick Gibson was, I don't give a fuck about any other Dexter. I want this. So I when they said it was canceled, I was like, cool.
Yeah, if for some reason Resurrection wasn't well received or considered a fuck up, it's nice for Showtime to have that safety, because people like Dexter. I mean, there are people that weren't alive for the first run of Dexter that are going back and rewatching it. It's very popular. I get it as like this safety backup, but Resurrection's doing well. People are all fired up for it. You know, tuck it away. It was this nice, like, protective, hey, in case people don't like this, we still have this. All right, people do like this, so, you know, put it away. And yeah, like the fan service shit, when LaGuerta goes on that one night date thing, and I was just like, oh my God, this does not matter. Like, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah, everything was a fucking cameo moment. It's
Yeah.
like, I don't like this type of shit. And so beyond that, I mean, like, even before Resurrection was announced, like, it was after New Blood just shattered their records, and they were like, well, fuck, we killed him. They were literally throwing every idea at the wall. They announced everything at once. They're like, we're doing a Dexter prequel series, we're doing a Trinity prequel series, we're doing a Harrison New Blood spinoff. And like, for the most part, aside from the people that just want whatever Dexter, I'm fine. As long as I see the thing I like, I'm good. Aside from those people, everybody was like, nope, we're good. And then you had the announcement that basically it seems like the Harrison New Blood spinoff morphed into Resurrection, where they were able to convince, or Michael C. Hall literally approached them and was like, hey, we got to fucking fix this shit. I want to come back. And so I think they already had the ball rolling on Original Sin. We haven't heard shit about the Trinity series, and that was supposed to be, you know, locked and loaded. I wouldn't be surprised if that's off the table now. To me, it's like they had all these ideas just to milk the brand for Paramount Plus, but then as soon as Dexter Resurrection was hitting, and the ratings are great, and people are talking about Dexter like fucking rabidly online right now, they're like, oh, we're back. that other extra shit, put it away. That
Yeah,
makes sense to me.
and don't forget that Paramount just had that merger,
Yeah.
so the way they're shifting money around is convenient. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know.
It could have been a budget thing too, or
Sure.
it could have been somebody who's a studio head that actually has some sense. They're like, "What the fuck are you bitches doing?" No, this thing's hitting. Fuck all that other shit.
Yeah, we're doing 2 Dexter shows in the same year? No, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Somebody's fired.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the one thing that I saw was, like, they did the crew dirty, and I was like, I don't know. Did they announce it halfway during film? Like, TV shows get canceled all the fucking time. I don't know
Yeah.
if
I
it's
mean, they did announce a season 2 back in, like, April,
yeah,
so I guess there is some disappointment and some shittiness with that where it's like, "Hey, we're back," and then they're like, "Never mind." But it's show business.
yeah.
Like you said, shows get canceled, movies get canceled all the fucking time.
You get certain you get paid for certain like, if you sign on for a contract, you're I mean, you're not getting your full salary, but, you know, they get some sort of severance or
Mhm.
something, so I don't know. Too much Dexter is I don't know, some people want it. There is such a thing as too much of a good thing,
Yeah.
and, you know, focus on they did for all intents and purposes, Resurrection is a return to form, even with its warts. You know, focus on it. Like, do a good job. Give us a nice, solid 3-4 seasons, and just I don't know. Do a Brian prequel series and and a Gemini prequel series, and like there's so many things where it's like we need so many different side series.
Yeah. If they wanna do spinoffs, that's fine. That's fine to me. You have all these other killers that, you could do little whatever. I just don't want prequels. I'm not a prequel guy. Even
Yeah,
the Trinity series, it's like, I don't wanna know more about his character. I know enough. I
yeah.
don't need to see him take his first fucking 4 walls build. I don't need it.
Four walls built. It reeks of Walking Dead, is what it is. Like, I don't know
Yeah.
how many Walking Dead shows there are. Like, but
Yeah, they series finale, final season of Walking Dead, and they get the series finale, and it's like, "Never mind, we're just splitting them all off." So we got the Daryl show, we got the fucking Rick show, we got the Negan show.
Fear the Walking Dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
Daryl and
Now you
like
gotta watch 4 shows.
yeah,
I'm
it's
like, how about I watch 0?"
but yeah. Do you have a few minutes, Cody? We'll open up to the chat.
Just be careful.
Be careful, everyone. We're opening the floor to you guys. Gavin says, "Do you think Dexter Resurrection is a better season than Last of Us season 2?" Oh,
Yes.
yeah, I would agree with that too.
I like a lot about Last of Us season 2, but they really shit the bed by the end of it, and then retroactively, you look back and it's just like, "Why did we rush? Why did we have 7 episodes? Why did we skip over this? Why did this happen? Why did we nerf this character?" It was one of those things where I don't think I was in denial the whole season, but I was like, "I'm willing to go along with the ride because the highs are so high." And then you get to the end, and it just felt like, "What?
Dude, it's
No."
you talked about reviewing shows on a weekly
Week
basis.
2
It was one of those things where
perfect
I'm like, just wait,
perfect example.
and then it was just like, oh, I look like an asshole now. So
Yeah.
thanks, Joe.
You either look like an asshole or you look like you changed your opinion to go with everybody else.
Mhm. Mhm.
You can't win. But yeah, that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about, where you give like your experience week to week and how your thoughts are formulating, and then you get to the end and it just would just totally like changes tone.
Yeah. Uh, 1KQ says, "Quinn, just stay in Miami, bro. I can't handle more." Um,
Yeah, he was kind of they turned him into a bit of a dipshit after season 6.
yeah, but like again, Harrison after New Blood, we were like, dude, this fucking kid's annoying. Like, I don't want any
Mhm.
more of him. But with some lubrication this season, there's hope. So
Yeah,
I
no,
get,
there's hope. I
yeah,
like his character, but I get somebody being like, "I've had enough." Like, the fucking guy that threw everything away for a stripper and then, whatever the fuck else happened. Like, they really had no idea what to do with him after Deb became a lieutenant
yeah. They
or
even like
captain, excuse me.
didn't they have like that joke in Resurrection where Quinlan's like a Russian stripper or something like that. Like it was just like this throwaway line. Like, yeah, we know we fucked up.
Do you have any regrets? He's like, yeah, fucking Ukrainian stripper.
Yeah, it's I don't know. Like things need work moving forward. Doesn't mean that it's hopeless, but I don't know. Again, there's plenty of serial killers for Dexter to work on with this Prater thing, as long as I don't fucking trip that up, and don't go too big. Don't try to be crazy with your ending. I think we're in okay. Oh, so 1KQ clarify. Sorry, I meant for him to stay in Miami, meaning I don't want him to die. All the OGs.
Oh.
Yeah, who's left as far as
Masuka? From like episode 1 characters, Masuka. That's it. Because Quinn didn't join until season 3.
Will has a good point. They're going to have Quinn get a hold of Angel's recordings and have Dexter work with Claudette. Dexter work with Claudette? Why Dexter work with Claudette? It is interesting that Angel does have recordings. So, did he have his phone with him? I'm trying to remember.
It was with him when he was showing Prater the picture.
Prater might have it. Okay, all right. But yeah, the fact that
you would think he'd be backing that up somewhere. There could be a tail end of that meaning something at some point. What does he mean by Dexter working with Claudette? Like he's going to join the NYPD as a blood spatter guy?
I don't think that's going to happen. That needs some lube, as far as I'm concerned.
Get a fucking bottle of it.
You need some Diddy amount of lube. So who's a worse person, Mr. White or Dexter? Let's all agree that Mr. White is worse. What? As in Walter?
I mean, Dexter has obviously killed significantly more people than Walter White, has caused the death of significantly more people than Walter White. But I get what you're saying of like Walter White was more inherently evil by the end of the show than
he got
Dexter.
Drunk last season or two.
Yeah, he was just like, fuck everybody. And so I get your point. But yeah, I don't know. It depends on do you mean who's more inherently evil or who's caused the most damage? Because if it's damage, it's fucking, you know.
Yeah, I don't. By proxy, maybe if you could show me how many people took the blue stuff and died, how much those drugs...
How many people were on the 737?
Yeah, it's interesting, but they're both heroes in certain people's opinion. Doesn't matter. I can have too much of them. Only if Deborah never died makes me wonder how she feels knowing Dexter didn't die if she lived. Only if Deborah never died makes me wonder how she feels knowing Dexter didn't die if she lived. I'm sorry, I'm reading that in circles.
Are you saying like if she lived through the gunshot wound and Dexter disappeared, like if she found him 10 years later, like Harrison did?
Yeah. Interesting.
I don't know. We'll never know. So that's a lot of retconning to even have a what if.
Yeah, they've fucked up a couple of times, and I think this is kind of what Cody's both of us are getting on about. Angel, like this was the platinum piece here, and for Angel to go out like this, it's got to matter. It needs to matter because they keep doing this, get out of jail free card thing where at some point, for narrative and dramatic purposes, it has to be a big deal. Gavin says, I'm hoping to get rid of the 2 detectives in season 2, but it probably won't happen. Yeah.
I don't know. I hated the detective character in the first couple of episodes. They toned her down quite a bit, and I don't mind her as much now, but she's definitely not a character that I would miss if this was it.
Yeah, she's become less of like a caricature. Like it seemed like she was like an autism caricature in the beginning, where it's just like,
yeah,
I don't know what you're trying to do there, but it's confusing me.
Yeah.
I don't know. Again, with enough motivation, if you can, again, you've got me to defend Harrison at this point, which I never would have thought I'd be doing. I'm actually rooting for Harrison, and go go eat that girl out while you're being chased. Sure, that's what 18-year-olds do.
Mhm.
But Claudette, I don't like if you can make it so that she has a parallel to Angel. Like if she has a parallel to Angel because of the New York Ripper, and she sees that he was chasing Dexter, and somehow that like brings her to carry on and chase Dexter, would that be satisfying? Like if she took the mantle from Angel because of the like he remember he pointed, he's like, the New York Ripper, you have that one that always got away. Like
Yeah, I don't know. Like having a brand new character that I don't even care for be the ultimate downfall of Dexter sounds like dog shit to me. I mean, having her be a part of it, a piece, a cog in the machine or whatever is fine, but having her like take over as the Batista.
right, right. How do they keep doing this? Rob says she made me hate Staying Alive by the Bee Gees. Yeah, I
She's got one song on her playlist.
do you have an iPod, or you just have like one song?
Mhm.
All right, so we're probably going to discuss things after this is not theories and a bit more resolution. We're only 6 days away now. Cody, anything you have coming up before then?
So I've dropped a number of shorts on TikTok and Instagram. I've ramped up a lot of my stuff over there. So if you guys follow me there, I did a shorter version of my like New York Ripper theory ranking. I also did like a standalone little thing on the Batista thing. If you haven't watched, or if you're not into watching the longer form stuff. As far as just main channel stuff, I have a ranking of the Toxic Avenger movies that I'm going to try to get out tomorrow, but at the latest, it'll be Sunday. Watching all the sequels for the first time ever. So that one's coming. And what the fuck is next week? I feel like I'm Conjuring is next week, so I'm
Oh
sure
wow.
that'll be another, one final ranking since this is the end of phase 1. One final ranking for that, and I'll think of a couple more things to fill out the week. And then I'm going to be heading to Halloween Horror Nights on the 6th. I've got a ticket set up for that. So me and the wife will be heading out there. So I'll do a little vlog video the way that I did a couple years ago. They got the Terrifier house, the Jason Universe house, the Friday Nights at Freddy house. So that'll be out at some point that week. And then the week after that, I'm heading to Texas for Fantastic Fest. And so then you're going to have a ton of shit like out of theater reactions. They're premiering Black Phone 2, Shelby Oaks. There's multiple secret screenings that could be anything. So uh, that's going to be balls to the wall after that.
Yeah, I've been getting emails for that. So interesting developments there with Fantastic Fest. Yeah, and obviously, when this is all said and done, I'm sure we're going to discuss, if not just Resurrection, but perhaps the whole series.
Oh yeah, for sure. I forgot. Yeah, that's a good point. When Dexter Resurrection ends, I'll do like a season review and then whore out on some other content. So I'll re-rank the seasons so it should include Original Sin and Resurrection. I don't think I'm gonna like re-rank the antagonists yet. I'll save that for like the end of the show, but I will rank like top 10 episodes or top 10 characters or something like that.
Mhm.
And then God help them if the ending sucks, because then you're gonna get like multiple rant videos of like I did with New Blood, where it's just what the fuck did you do?
Ranking the 3 worst episodes. Oh, they're
Yeah,
all finales.
ranking the shitty endings.
All right. Thank you to those of you who've joined us in the chat. Thank you again for subscribing. Click like if you enjoyed the ride. And we will see you again soon. Have a good evening.
Play your own kind of music.